Everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is January 27th, 2020. And we have a few neat little tidbits. We've gotten the March reissues from Aoshima. Their, restocking information separate from their new kits for the month. Also, we got some pictures. I'd like to give credit to whoever took these pictures, but I don't know who they were. They just got shared with me. They were taken at NNL West this weekend, featuring some new reissues, as it were, from Revell here in the United States. They're not done. Who knew? And also we have our regular kit releases. So let's do the Aoshima stuff first, since it's just, I'm going to read a list to you. I don't have to worry about plumbing pictures into this. So those are, again, spot runs for the month of March. These are just restocks. There's nothing new about any of these. And they are the 1991 Nissan Silvia S13 Diamond package, which was a recently slightly modified S13 Silvia that had come out at the end of last year. The 1998 Nissan Skyline ER3425 GTX. That is one of the new tool variations of the new Mordor R34 kit that Aoshima reissued last year. Released last year. Reissue of the 1968 MGB. Reissue of the 1974 MGB. Reissue of the 82 Kalame 9 Hours Skyline Turbo Group 5 car. Reissue of the 2005 Toyota Alphard, just a street van. No VIPing involved there. Reissue of the 91 Toyota Crown Majesta. A reissue of the 1995 Toyota Hilux, what they call the new old school, which is the lowered pickup with the camper shell that is, sort of the style of the 78 Hilux, that just the new car, so it's the new old school. Also, a reissue of the Liberty Walk Liberty Works Nissan Laurel 130. That's the number 4 kit out of the series. And then all of these wheels are going to be 19 inches. They are, split up into a couple of different sections here. You have the reissue of the Work Gnosis GS2s and Workmeister S1R. Reissue of the VIP Modular VXS110 and VXS210. And reissue of the Volk Racing TE37, Volk Racing CE28Ns, Enki Racing NT03 Plus Ms, and the Racing Heart Type CR. So those are all, well, except for the Enki ones, kind of similar to the 16-inch wheels they do for the AA6 Trunos, but these are, again, 19-inch, larger size wheel. I think almost all of these wheels in their silhouette on the box art have R34 GTRs as being the thing you put them on. The VIP modulars are VIP wheels, and then the work wheels, I think they are on GTRs as well. But at any rate, some wheels coming back. So there is that. So let's talk about these couple of reissues from the NNL West that we saw. Again, credit to the photographer. I do not know who this was. First up, you have this, which is the reissue of their Chevy Love street pickup. This is the monogram kit, obviously. I've always been kind of bummed out about the fact that you can't build a factory stock Chevy Love out of this, which of course is a rebadged Isuzu. There's a 350 small block in this. It's obviously got the over fenders and a California look to it, if you will, although technically speaking, we're very Northern California with that box art. Just because there is a factory stock Dodge Ram D50, the Mitsubishi truck. There's the reissue we saw here not too terribly long ago of MPC 75 Datsun. You have the Nissan Sunny from Hasegawa, which granted isn't a pickup truck we got here in the United States, but it's another little small, compact pickup truck of the time. There's a lot of those kits that exist. The Ford. There's a small little, I can't remember what the hell that was called back then. It's in my, I can picture the box art, but I can't think of it. But AMT did that small Ford pickup truck that was a captive import as well. So is it really like a detriment that this isn't oh my god, it's not factory stock. No, but it'd be nice if it could. I saw somebody the other day go, well, maybe some Intrepid resin caster will do the 4-cylinder engine that goes into this. Like, well, the Intrepid resin caster would also have to like take all of the aero stuff off of it. I really don't necessarily hate this. I might pick this up. I like the presentation of this. I don't think I've actually seen one of these in real life. I've just seen the box art from the 1980s when this kit was new. So maybe that'll be something else. While we're on this picture, I want to draw your attention to a couple of things in the background that are sort of off the shot, and I couldn't find better pictures of them. On the right, obviously, you have the California Wheels reissue of the 29 Model A Roadster. It's in a box. It was in a box back in Detroit, too. But again, it's in a box. It looks like it's actually shrink-wrapped in this picture. You can see that your wheel choices there. You've got the sort of smooth dog dish, baby moon style wheels on the actual box art, and then you've got the sort of Halibrin wheels on the built kit that the butt is sticking in the corner of the picture of. So again, for the 9,000th time, it's really coming back, folks. And then off to the left of the camera is the more interesting or intriguing thing. It is a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and it says new parts, is which you can see off the little thing there, and then it's a skill level 4, 12 plus, blah blah blah. So that's not the snap. People may recall there was a more modern, very factory stock build and play Jeep Wrangler that they did in the build and play series, and then there's the Tomb Raider kit. So what this is, from everything I understand, is the Tomb Raider kit with a slightly more factory stock appearance package to it. A little less aggressive wheels, factory stock-ish wheels. From people who talked to Ed Sexton at NNL West, they said that these parts have always been on the Tomb Raider tooling. They've just never been run before. So, hey, say what you will about the Blitz ownership. If we're actually going to use the tooling that exists, I'm all for that. Who knows what's hidden on what out there that Revell, for whatever reasons, mostly because Habaco was imploding, could never get the the financial wherewithal to run. You got to remember, at this point, I think this tooling that Blitz owns is probably paid off, because they only paid $100,000 for all of Revell. Remember, I mean, they paid $3 million for the inventory and things like that, but the actual tooling was $49,999, and the names, the monogram Revell, and all the logos and trademarks were $50,000. They only paid $100,000 for this. They sold all of that scratch and dent, odd, things we're never going to use, the NASCAR tooling and all that, to Atlantis, who then, of course, sold the NASCAR tooling to Salvinus JR. But between that sale and the sales success of some of the kits that they've released since then, especially the 68 Chevelle, that's sold out its first run. The 69 Mustang, you got the Gasser 57 Ford, and all these reissues of some kits that haven't been around for a while, like the Monte Carlo. I think they probably made their $100,000 back, which is why they can start doing things like, hey, there's this stuff on the backside of this, well, not backside, but these inserts for the Rubicon. What are those? And I've got one picture of the thing way far off, and I'm not going to use it because it's so far off an angle. Somebody was just taking a picture of like the Revell table without really taking close-up pictures of it. And this is kind of the bane of my existence when it comes to model shows, is why people just don't go down the row. If you ever go to a model car show and Revell is there and I'm not, NNL East, I got that, but anywhere else, just take a picture of everything that's on the table and send it to me, and I'll decide what's worth using and what's not. And you'll get credit for it on the interwebs. So there you go. But anyway, I've seen a picture of it, and it's still Tomb Raider-y, because there's probably some stuff with that body that you really can't fix with the inserts for sort of a factory stock bumper and things like that, but it's certainly a lot closer to what would have been purchasable back in 2004 from a Jeep dealership, maybe a day 2 type of Jeep, than the Tomb Raider was. I have never bought the Tomb Raider Jeep just because I don't particularly care for the way it's styled, just me personally. But I would be on board for something that looks a little less, die-cast interpretation of a movie vehicle, and more like something that I would maybe perhaps actually own. So there's that. And then the other reissue that was shown at NNL West is the 78 Chevy El Camino 3-in-1. So this has the camper shell. I'm not sure that's been in the releases the last couple of times. I don't remember it, but then the last time this kit was released was when I was out of the hobby as far as buying like new Frontline kits. This got reissued what, in the late 1990s, I want to say. This is a 3-in-1, so you have the factory stock kit, you have a sort of custom-ish version, which has like the mag wheels on the bigger part of the box art there, and then it does come with the lowrider parts. So again, for people, you know, in the lowrider community, I don't know how good a kit this is as a lowrider, but hey, that hasn't been around for a long time. This kit not only was reissued a while ago, but it also has been out of production for quite a while. So it's a little monogram kit as well. I don't know why they're packaging as Revell. One of the things that always has annoyed me about Hobbico, and continues to apparently annoy me through Blitz, is the fact that they can't just release stuff how it was supposed to be. The Chevy Love pickup truck, that's a monogram kit, and it's got a monogram boxing. The El Camino's monogram kit, but it's got a Revell boxing, and I guess you got to kind of, you know, decide where you're going to draw that line at necessarily, as far as like what, if everything has a monogram boxing, then like, are we using the Revell name or some, you know, that sort of thing. But at the same time, you know, we all know, all of us who are around since prior to the merger, so anybody who's been building models from, well, I mean, they merged a lot earlier than 1998, but 1998 was when it became Revell Monogram, and then Monogram pretty much disappeared. Anybody who's been building since before 1998 knows that these were two separate model companies at one point in time, and that everything 1/24 scale, for the exception of like the 59 Cadillac and maybe one other thing there, the origins, I should say, of the Tri-5 tooling and the 54 pickup truck were 1/25 scale monogram kits, but monogram was 1/24 scale. Releasing a 1/24 scale kit in 1/25 scale in a 1/25 scale company box is just weird to me, but that's just me. Don't mind me. I'm just going to be weird over here. All right, so we have our kit releases for this week, and we got several releases from round 2. One from the folks over at Mobius, and then we have a few things on the import side of things, literally a set of wheels and one model kit, looks like. So the round 2 kits that we got this week are the original kits that were supposed to come out this month. You may recall that the January kits were the Fire Chief Impala, which was a holdover really from December, and then these 3 kits. Then they added like 7 kits into the mix on their actual YouTube channel video that they do, and then they actually, last week, pushed all those to February. So these are the January releases from round 2, if that makes sense. All right, so starting over at MPC, you got a reissue of one of the 6 Trick Trikes. It is the Ed Roth Mailbox Chopper. So this is in a box by itself for the first time. From what I understand of these all more or less always come in a package of 6, or they've come in non-conforming box sizes. Now this box is still somewhat smaller than a regular model car box. You're not going to stick this on your shelf with everything else that you have from an AMT Revell Mobius perspective and have it fit. It's about the size of a 1/32 scale box, give or take, but it is in a real life box this time, as opposed to, again, being all 6 in one box, or these weird ways they've sold them in the past. It says number 1 of 6 on that sticker there, so I'm assuming that really does mean that they are going to reissue all 6 of these. So if you are a fan of these, and perhaps, again, you're missing a couple from the past, this is a great way to fill your collection. This has clear parts in 2 colors. I should probably get my list out so I know what I'm talking about, because I can't really keep all the stuff straight all the time. And actually, I didn't write anything down for it, so I guess that was a worthless grab off camera there. So, actually, it says clear parts are in 3 colors. You got your decal sheet back, and it's a very interesting study in drugs in the 1970s. What can we say? All right, so over at AMT, you got 2 kits. You have first up this, which is the reissue of the 1977 Ford Pinto that was just reissued not too terribly long ago. This time it's as the Pinto Popper. So this has some of the parts to the Pantera. If anybody remembers the Pantera, you have to be at least my age or older, unless you collect old model kits out of course. Was a sort of stylized Ford Pinto kit that they did back then. So apparently they found the inserts for it and thought, why don't we stick some Coca-Cola decals on it? Because, hey, why not? So you get a 1970s era vending machine with this, so that's kind of cool. I think there are some The windows are clear, and they're also cast in Coca-Cola green. Again, I'll leave it up to you older folks to determine if that's the right shade of green, because really we didn't have green Coca-Cola bottles by the time I was a kid. I don't drink pop or soda, depending on your part of the country. Anyway, otherwise, this is just a reissue of the 77 Pinto. So the factory stock one, again, got reissued, last year, maybe a year and a half ago. And so this is, you can build the factory stock kit out of this, or you can build they're calling it the Pinto Popper. There must be a licensing thing about calling it a Pintera, my guess. Or maybe not all of the Pintera parts are still in existence. But at any rate, it's an option out there for you. I would consider buying this only because I did not buy the 77 Pinto. And there's some part of me that loves the Malaise era cars. I have the 75 Pinto wagon. One of the very few vintage kits I own is a 75 AM, or I think it's an AMT, it might be an MPC, but it's a 75 Pinto, the original version of this kit before it was modified into the newer front end that came out in the 77, 78. And I really kind of want the vending machine. I have a diorama in mind, my garage diorama, because I have the Fujimi garage and tools thing. I want to buy another garage so I can make a double width garage out of it. But having a vending machine would be cool, and having it not be like a Japanese specific vending machine would be even cooler. So I might pick one of those up at some point if I can catch one on clearance. Maybe it'll be an Ollie's kit, although I'm sure Coca-Cola wouldn't allow that. And then last kit from AMT this week is this. It is the Tyrone Malone Hideout truck. So there's a little bit of controversy about this. From the rumors that are circling around this, and I don't know that it's ever been verified by anybody, but the rumors involving the licensing of this kit was that Kenworth did not want Allison transmissions and Bandag to be part of this kit. It was a not included or you can reissue it type of deal. Now, that's weird because, of course, there is the original hauler truck for the original kit. I'm trying to think of what the heck it was called. It was just Tyrone Malone's Kenworth Aerodyne was what that was. But for the white truck and the white drag truck, it had all of the Bandag licensing on it. Now, that was 5 or 6 years ago, and perhaps there's been some sort of, lawyerly schematic change at Kenworth as far as what they're willing to do, or maybe Bandag didn't want to. I think Bridgestone owns Bandag at this point. Maybe they didn't want to be part of it. I really don't think Allison Transmissions would give one hoot one way or the other. I can see from Kenworth's side, and this is sort of going off on a limb of logic, but Kenworth doesn't use Allison transmissions anymore. They obviously don't use Bandag recaps anymore. Not that I probably ever did, but they don't use Bridgestone Firestones on their factory trucks that you buy brand new. So they didn't want it associated with the company. That's a very, very narrow scheme of focus when you consider the fact that this is representing a model kit of a truck and a drag truck from the 1970s. Like, anybody's going to buy this and go, oh, well, I'm sort of glad I can get my Allison transmission Bandag tired Kenworth this week for $150,000. Yeah, you know how that works. But anyway, this is back out. Again, the decals are missing a few components because of the licensing, but pretty much this is the exact same truck as the white one, just it's, black. I don't think it's actually molded in black, but it's black. The decals are all there. They did include some extra decals as far as the striping goes that is much, much nicer than the originals as far as the coverage of them and what they represent and the colors and the register and all that stuff. But again, you're going to have to try to source some aftermarket stuff if you want the correct, true Bandit hideout truck hauling thing correct. I don't know that I would pick this up. I have the white one. I don't think I need a black one too. Just, I don't have the drag trucks. I bought it because it's a car hauler, and I just like the idea of having car haulers. Why I have like the Ford, what do they call that? The race car hauler, the LN 8000 one. I just like having the idea of having a car hauler. There's no modern ones, but having them in general is just cool. So, at any rate, those are back out. Now, over at Mobius, we got the Model King limited, if you will, release of the AFX chassis 1965 Golden Commandos Plymouth. So this actually comes with decals to do two different versions. One is an all-white test car, and the other is the traditional Golden Commandos, sort of white and copper colors. This has really probably at least 50% new parts, because obviously your your chassis is different, your body's different, the interior is different. I think it shares a little bit of the drivetrain in the engine compartment stuff with the previous versions of the Mopar drag cars. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a drag car guy, but just looking at what the parts are, that's what it looks like. It shares obviously things like wheels and all, the front body trim, rear body trim, most of the interior pieces, other than the shortened depth of the interior with the other kits. But this is, like I said, quite a different model kit, especially when you really sit down and look at what it all includes. So for vintage drag fans, I know you guys have been waiting a long time for this to come out, and it is out there for you. So keep in mind it's Model King, so limited edition. I think Dave ran this in a regular kit run, which means there's like 5,000 of them worldwide. So it's not going to necessarily be an, oh my God, I can't find one, but it'll turn into a question of, if he sells out, will he run another one of them, run it with a different team, etc., etc. I think the only real Model King kit I've seen be reissued was the 69 Ford pickup truck, the short bed. So if you want one, go grab one. You know how this works. You wait, you lose, you snooze, you lose. So there is that. And then, guys, that'll take us to Japan for the last 4 or 5 things here. Over at Fujimi, one of the wheel sets for January is this. It is a 17-inch set of BBS RG346s. These are molded in gray. I don't believe they're actually chrome plated, which is always a screw job from Fujimi, but I guess you should just be glad there's wheels out there, is the way they look at it. Over at Aoshima, we got the reissues of several of the 18-inch wheels. And so you have the Volk Racing TE37 RTs, which is like the red version of the TE37 gravels. The Graham Light 57 Extremes, the Work Emotions CR Kiwamis, and the Workmeister S1 3-piece. Now, the S1 3-piece, guys, remember, this is the wheel you need if you happen to have the Lancia 037 GTC. It was a rally car, but we decided to race it on a regular track thing. These are the wheels that you need for that. So there is that. And then last but not least, we have one kit release, actually, really. This is from the folks over at Hasegawa, and it is the 1994 season JTCC BP Advan Hitotsuyama Racing vehicle. I realized I was going to say BMW twice, but it's the 318i. So this is a new set of decals. Now, the 318i has been around since 1995, I think, was when they started tooling this up. This livery, per se, now it's not much of a livery. The decal sheet's probably about this big. It's like, the placards for BP and the number boards are the biggest things on this thing. It's, again, new livery, has never been done before. This fills a gap, I'm not going to complain, in the 1994 JTCC season. And if this is what it takes to get me the other teams that are probably more well-known in terms of, actually being the Advan team that ran a 318, that has the traditional Advan color, the red with the black sort of stripes on the back of the rear quarter, and I'm all for it. I've grabbed one because I need all the JTCC anyway. So it's certainly for somebody who was interested in JTCC in a vague sort of way. These guys did not really do too much with this car. There was actually, I think, 2 of these that they ran. For some reason, they only gave you the decals for 1. I don't even know that I can find reference photos for the other car to be all like, I can make the decals for the other car. But because this was the main car that they ran. Field filler didn't do real well, but again, it fills the gap, and why not, right? I actually had a point to that before I started saying it. If you watched, I literally lost it midway through. Trying to remember what the hell what I was going to say about this, but yeah, there it is. This one has a different set of wheels in it than the normal 318i's. I think these are the wheels out of the Toyota A101 because they're the factory stock wheels that are in the 318s were a BBS wheel, and these are obviously not. So there's that's a little bit of a difference thing, but they can their wheels are always on those little teeny weeny little runners, so they probably can run those off separately, or there's something that they were doing with it. Love to see the rest of them come out. If they did all of the liveries for the 318i, then we could literally field almost everything from JTC in 1994. So, anyway, guys, I believe that wraps this one up. So, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the next time.